talk a little bit with Cubby and Apira about the match. It's good stuff. Retirement plan, opening a restaurant. That should be a lot of fun. I watch a lot of restaurant shows on TV. Always seems like a good time.
He's further along in his retirement plans than I am. That's for sure. I don't know. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
He's got it all figured out. I mean, I don't even know if he's going to need to retire anytime soon. The way he's been playing, but still, I'm glad he's got plans.
Cubby, I didn't need the personal attack of further along retirement plans than I am, but thank you.
It's a reality check, you know.
Oh boy.
Okay, all right, moving on along. That was a great win coming out from Dignitas 2-0 to start getting some more wins under their belt. But it's time for us to look into the next matchup of the day. Immortals going up against TSM here. First glance, first thoughts of how this is going to go down. Apira, I'm going to put you on the spot as the newcomer to this desk.
Ooh.
All right. You know, I like it. Just getting tossed off the deep end really early. I mean, I think TSM Academy have been looking a little bit better. You know, I caught some of the games last week. I think they've been able to play really well through mid lane in particular. And I mean, yeah, you know, it's takeover. The guy's got a lot of experience. I think I saw an Akali game where he just basically got hard snowballed, and it was kind of GG. So like just knowing that there's that raw power on this roster, that's who I'm favoring. But you know, I don't know, IMT. It's a little hard to say because they had such a rough week against strong opponents that maybe this is a chance for them to get back into it.
Okay. And then Cubby, looking over at this roster, I mean, we got Pyro's take on just the fact that takeover good. What about your thoughts?
I'm going to get into it more as we go through, but I think that ultimately for TSM, they are a young and exciting team that we have in Academy. And I think that we are seeing some of the members really step up and improve. I'm going to talk more about Hyper's improvement later, because I think that Hyper has really stepped it up this split. But, I mean, when you have Takeover, who, you know, just had a debut in LCS last split, and then you combine that, you have a 17-year-old marksman, you have one of the greatest players of all time in the LCS making his coaching debut for this roster as well, and Smithy behind the scenes. There's a lot to be excited here about here for TSM fans, and I really hope this team continues to scale into the split, because what we've seen so far from this young roster has been really promising.
Yeah, I agree massively with that. I think it's a team that has a lot for fans and for, you know, the org to be excited for as well.
Yeah, well, now heading on to the roster of Immortals, I feel like there's definitely some highlights and stuff on this roster. You were talking about people looking at over in TSM roster, and this team definitely is not short of people to be keeping an eye on, Cubby.
I think that Pretty's been really good to start off the split. And I know it's been a tough week for Immortals, but 0-4 looks bad on the scoreboard. But when you go 0-4 against the two teams we have at the top of our standings in Team Liquid Academy and FlyQuest Academy, I think that you can still take away some positives. And for the side of IMT, they have had positives in the start of their split. I think Vital, again, debuting, is team fighting decently well for someone that is making his first appearance in Academy. Player that wasn't even in amateur or proving grounds, really. And then Chad,
like so new, right?
He's been cheesing, yeah. Chad loves to cheese, you know. And when he's starting enemy level 1 buffs, it's gone pretty well for Immortals.
I think cheese is really fun, but it's really risky, right? Like once people start to expect it, then you have to like shift things up because, you know, like the cheesiest thing you can do as a cheeser is not to cheese. I want to see the variance. I want to keep people guessing. Chad wants to keep having success.
I'm trying to track the cheese timeline in my head for that one, but I'm trying to figure that out. Cubby, I want to circle back around because you were talking about saving your thoughts about Hyper until later. What is it about this player that you're wanting to see?
I've seen a lot from Hyper in this split, and if I go back to Hyper from last split, I've been pretty critical of Hyper in the past. I think that Hyper was one of, if not the weakest jungler that we had in Academy in spring. It was kind of fun going back to pull these clips. I just got to go to the Kenvi folder, and I just looked for a clip where he was running Hyper, and sure enough, I found one. So, to be fair, Kenvi does that to most junglers, or did that to most junglers in Academy, and that's why I went to LCS. But Hyper struggled with game planning and I think direction a lot last split. And to start off this split, he has really upped his game when it comes to the game planning and direction that he's been taking. I think that it's been a lot more sound in TSM, like their game plans, and I'm curious to see if that continues because it's been a good look for Hyper so far.
Yeah, and I would love to hear Hyper's thoughts too. We have a little bit of a clip to hear what he thinks about his time in Academy.
Again, but I think I'm the best lead. Yeah.
Probably not.
They always let it slip through a couple times, and they remember why they're not allowed to play.
They're probably just gonna ban it from now.
Yeah, no doubt. I do want to talk a little bit about another split with you and TSM Academy, right? You're getting another split of Academy under your belt. How has that been for you, right? Getting to stick around and kind of see how the piece is working through an up and down start.
Lucky to be here.
Glad
Shouldn't
to hear
be
it.
here.
Some good words.
Yeah.
Hey, come on now. You're smurfing him. You're smurfing him. You got the dub today. Be happy.
Ashton on takeover yet again with the spear connecting to, jumping into the backline. First blood goes over to Ken B. Viper's pretty low as well, but it's going to be the flag and drag combo for the kill. Going over to Kamsu. Hyper flashing over the wall, but the gold card connect again and double kill for Ken B.
Well, you heard it from Hyper there. Happy to be here. But what was that after? Doesn't know why he's here? Why? What is that?
Well, I mean, I feel like, my take on Hyper not having a great last split was shared, maybe even by Hyper himself, but the big key is that this split, I think his direction has been so much better. Again, this game, this was the bomb that TakeOver dropped, the 14-1 Akali game. This was set up by Hyper, going around that early ward that Triple dropped, and then revisiting when Flash was down and when this wave was shoved out. This is really good teamwork out of Hyper and TakeOver. Really solid mid-jungle play. We did not see this from Hyper in the last split. It's been a really good sign of growth and evolution from him, and I really hope it continues because this guy has always had the hands, always had the mechanics, and if he starts to learn how to play that role better on the competitive stage, he is someone that is promising when it comes to what he's shown.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a big confidence builder for him as well. I mean, you saw in the interview clip that we just showed, like, there was a little bit of uncertainty, I think, because of past performance. And so you start getting results, it starts making you feel better, and then you keep getting results. It's step one, step two, step three.
It could be that, could just be a memer, but I think there is a little bit of truth to that. These guys like to joke around a lot, and hey, there's one thing the Hyper's right about. He's not allowed to get that Lee Sin. He's 3-1 on it so far this split, and he has not seen it past week 1.
Alright, I mean, we have to, at this point, hype up Immortals a little bit, too. And for this one, we're going to talk about Chad. Cubby, I have here that in the clips, this is what I have in my notes for the run of show about Chad. It just says, Desrex is awesome. Just, what was this inside joke between you two and Chad?
I feel like Desrex is a big fan of Chad starting enemy jungle early, as we can see here from Immortals' first game of the split. He walks in and steals Rosethorn's blue and even sticks around to take the Wolves too. Forced the smite, just absolutely ruined Rosethorn's game. It's something where Chad, in 3 out of their 4 wins, I've seen him start enemy buffs. And I want to see teams to figure that out after week 1, but I want to see more solid jungle play from Chad, from Pretty, as well, helping out, because this is a mid-jungle duo that made it to top 4 of Proving Grounds in last split. They were really good, and it feels like, while I would say their side laners have been weaker to start off this split, it still feels like there have been some games where it's just disjointed if Chad doesn't get off to this massive start on the first clear. So I want to see them, put together some more solid play, solid fundamentals to manufacture leads instead of cheesing them.
Okay, well, at this point, we'll see if Chad can get off to that lead to put Immortals on the right path to victories. We are ready with that champ select. I'll catch you two on the other side.
All right, thank you very much, Sierra. We are into picks and bans, and as expected, there is not going to be a Lee Sin this game, Cubby.
Can't give it to Hyper. He has over a 70% win rate on Lee Sin in his career. He's 3-1 on it this split. Is it even meta? No. But, maybe he's just doing what his coach could never do, which is, find consistent wins on Lee Sin in Smithy.
Oh my goodness!
Hey, he wasn't known for the Lee Sin, man. It's fine.
I mean,
Hyper
it's just
is.
that was. I just didn't expect the spice to hit that fast.
They're gonna combine each. It's gonna be good. Anyway, Smithy's like the most winningest jungler in LCS history, so he can hold that over all of our heads. It's fine. I get 1 or 2 cheap shots every once in a while.
You got to take them when you can. Just like these bans that are coming fast and hot right now. The Gangplank, the Fiora. Then we shift down to bot side. No Kalista, no Ezreal. As well, so this is kind of across the board here in this first phase.
And we're going to see if Lucian is taken off the table or Wukong. 2 picks that have been really big, and instead it's actually just going to be neither. It's going to be a Jax taken away.
They're handshaking a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of a target at Vital, and Zeri. This is a pick that I feel like is very powerful in this patch. We're oftentimes seeing it banned red 1. I've heard rumors that we could see it mid. We will see. But all we know is that it's going to be a first pick for the side of Immortals, and with all the bot lanes left up, it looks like it might be a Senna lane. And with the Jax ban taken away too, I wouldn't be surprised to see an early Camille lock-in.
It's possible. I think for TSM, they're gonna, they're going for the Senna lane. They're gonna add in the Wukong for Hyper as well, so that's another big one. It's also a takeaway from Chad, of course, with how strong he has been on that champion. And of course, we'll have to take a look what Immortals end up pairing with this area if it does potentially go to mid lane, or if they do take it in a more traditional roll down bot. I don't believe Arrow's actually played at this split.
It should be bot. He has not, but it's oftentimes been on the ban list. I'm expecting a Yuumi, Karma, Lulu here to help buff up the Zeri. Yuumi, also a bit of a deny away from Wukong. Not that we're going to see a Senna Yuumi lane, but hey, at least for the side of TSM, Zeri plus Yuumi, it's a pretty low health, pretty weak lane early. I think durability patch helped it be safer, of course, as we move forward, but I'm curious if they take something really aggressive to try and punish. We've seen the Maokai come out from Shenyi already, paired up with Senna. And I think that this game could set up well for Maokai. You could even put the Wukong down bot if you want to flex it that way. And we have seen Singed. It is a counter into Yuumi. It can be paired with Senna and get farm. I would love to see Shenyi pull this out.
I love it. I love how Singed is basically a flex in just like so many roles right now.
Please do it.
I think they will lock this one. I was going to maybe say like the Senna Kench, of course. Everybody knows how that one works. But we are going to see a few flash arounds, and as it finally settles, it's a Corki. It may be a sign of things to come, though, Cubby. We'll have to find out.
Fingers crossed, man. The Hen Singed, it just hits different, you know? Seeing Singed support win games, whether it's, you know, Spellbook Smite or, like, actually winning games with Senna, it's I'm a big fan of it. But, hey.
Oh, yeah.
We will see if we have any Singed bans now from Immortals. I actually think it might be worth a ban, as dumb as that sounds.
I mean, like okay, well, it's a fantastic meta. For one, we do see the Kench being banned away, and I think that one is a pretty obvious one as well. But, like, maybe maybe this is some mind games from TSM Academy. Maybe they're just like,
I love it.
You gonna ban it? You gonna ban it?
Yeah,
like,
I love it.
4D chess, man. I love it.
We'll see. Senna, I like seeing teams experiment and open up the books a little bit more with Senna, because I think that there is a lot that you can still experiment with this champion. So many champs are good being paired up with her, whether it's Senna farming or you know, fasting Senna as well. Maokai's one I really like that Shenyi and TSM have already picked up a win on this split. Singed is another that the Hens helped pioneer, and I think is really viable into Zeri plus Yuumi. And I'm curious if we see it today, as at the moment, Yone ban, that's actually a nice target on the Soul. Fun fact, both Soul and Vital are known for Yone and solo queue as top laners. So we will see if Soul is going to be forced to blind a top laner here. Again, I think Camille is a pretty good look. It would preserve the Wukong flex between jungle and support. TSM have a lot of options here in Giraffe. A lot of flexibility still left. And yeah, that Camille would not surprise me. It's really good in the Zeri. Jax is already taken off the board. And we'll see what Vital wants to counter it with. Vital, yet to play Gnar. I'm expecting that he just goes for something like an Aatrox here. I don't think Aatrox is that great, but it is comfort for Vital, and it is a skill matchup, I think. So we'll see if he feels comfortable piloting and winning that.
Yeah, also in the mid lane matchup too, you know, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the two bans that were thrown Pretty's way, the Ahri and the LeBlanc. I was wondering what he's going to pick up here. The Zoe is an option, and he's already shown things like the Azir and whatnot, but this does give them a little bit more on the burst side of things, and they'll let the timer evaporate, and that is going to be the lock of the Zoe. Let's see what Vital takes for the last pick.
And I think it also shows a lot of where Immortals has their strength, and that is mid-jungle duo. It is getting push, opening up the books for Chad. And I know I'm talking about Chad, cheese and buffs level 1, but Chad likes to take risks, and oftentimes I think those risks are not bad. It's just that he needs support from his mid laner and his team to be able to do that. Zoe's a great champion, something that Pretty has piloted pretty damn well. And we will see it here as Gwen going to be the last lock-in into the Camille. And now it is time for the truth. Is it Wukong jungle, or is it going to be Wukong support with potentially something else in the jungle?
Well, we're about to find out. We got about 12 seconds. We have seen the Maokai bot go before. I think this is the comfort zone for Shenyi. Wouldn't be too surprised. It adds a lot of tankiness. Singed is so good letting it go down to the wire.
Singed is, I actually would have liked to see Singed. I think Singed is really, really good into like Yuumi, Zeri, Zoe.
If it happens. I've got a story for you, but it hasn't happened
Okay.
yet, so I'm not going to tell it.
I'm looking forward to
Not
that
yet.
story.
We got plenty of games to go. We're not even halfway through the day.
That's true.
Immortals have so much damage on their side at certain stages of the game. And they're all like very new champions too. I'm looking at this and my brain is going like, oh, this is a Zoomer comp. I love it.
Yeah. All new champs. Zoe is the oldest champ on that list. Wow, that is filthy actually to think about. Well, we'll see if TSM can match. As I like TSM's comp. I feel like the Camille is really good engage and shutdown onto both Zoe and Zeri. The Wukong and Maokai can follow up nicely. Senna over the top damage is always good. I expect TSM to be stronger at the earlier stages of the game. I expect Shenyi to look to make plays. But we'll see if Chad and Purdy can make something happen, because that is really the point of strength for Immortals on the map early. And we'll see if they can get off the ground and get running.
Yeah, and I think Immortals is going to be the ball in their court right now to try and get some wins after a very, very rough week last time around. But it was some very, very tough opponents they had to play against. I think TSM are certainly no slouches, but maybe this could be the start of the comeback for them, Cubby.
Yeah, Immortals are being sent to the void even more than I am right now with the Pixel Cam.
It's okay.
Yeah, good times.
Sometimes you just gotta like, take the time, let yourself like get put back together. But like if you're in pixels, if you're in enough of them, you just get like, you're so mysterious, nobody knows who you are, and you kind of become like that shaded out for like privacy reasons. Everyone's like, who's that caster? We don't get to know,
Keeping things mysterious.
Exactly.
And also,
First voice is a dead giveaway.
Potentially.
Need the voice mod.
Yeah, keeping things a little bit less serious, and also stalling out for a little bit of time. We do have word that there's going to be a slight delay to the start of this game, so you're stuck with us in our wonderful faces, hopefully, for a couple bonus minutes.
If you want, I can tell that story. I know I teased it, and I was waiting for a Singe support lock, but I can give it to you if you want.
I mean, we got some time here, Pyra. I'm being told this might be a little bit of a longer delay, so let's hear it. What do we got?
Here's how this goes. Once upon a time, I had a Smurf account. Why? I don't know, because I'm like silver at the best of times. But I had a Smurf account, and it was a Singed only account, and it was called Mostly Running, which I thought was very, very accurate. I'm an old school Singed player. I like to get the dirty farm on. I would play. I would always opt for top, but you know how it is. Every once in a while, you get autofilled, right? So I would run it into a couple different lanes. I got a mid lock in a few times. I got a jungle a few times. The first time I ever got support autofilled, I full on just in chat, in pick ban, I just said, look, I'm going to play Singed. I know it's weird, but trust me, this is my thing. This is what I'm doing.
Gonna make it work.
Be fine. So I get paired up with a bot laner who first picks Vayne. And they're like telling me, no, you can't play Singed. You can't do this. It's not going to work. It was like season 8, I want to say. This is not going to work. And I'm like, no, I got this. It's fine. It's all good. Like, I'm going to be able to manage it. Don't worry. But I locked Singed on the last pick, and they immediately, I will not say the name because I don't remember it. And also, like, I don't want to throw too much shade, but they were not very happy about that. So the moment the game loads, I start getting spammed. Please report Singed trolling. Report. Question mark pings left and right. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this person is upset.
Yes.
We get into game. We have a 2v2. I think it might have even been like a Lucian Nami or something like that. So they get first blooded and was so close. We were really, really close to getting like, the ignite kill trade. They tilt off the planet and start running it down bot. And I'm like literally like trying to carry, like I just decided to start building like my normal like top lane Singed items. This was like, I think it was like Rod of Ages back when that was still a thing.
Nice.
Like, and I'm like, I'm not the jerk, right? And my whole team is like, nah, this Vayne is super, super tilted right now. And I'm like, okay, good. And eventually they just like AFK'd. We lost the game, but I've never had that much fun playing a weird off role. And that was when I realized Singed can play in every role.
I would argue that
in this season I'm vindicated.
I would argue even in season 8, picking Vayne is more troll than picking Singed support. I'm just gonna throw that one out there too.
That's fair.
I think you're in the right.
I mean, like I think that is. It's hard for me to say. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. What do you think, Sierra? I know we're bringing you back.
I'm not gonna lie. I was sitting in front of my AC. I only caught like the last third of that story. It is very confusing without context.
It's because Cubby threw so much spice in the beginning at Xmithy. I'm still Whew, still wearing that.
He wasn't a
yeah.
Lee Sin player, you know? He
Okay.
said the same
That's
thing.
true.
Before-
I mean, if you had said he missed a bunch of ultimates on Sejuani, I would have been like, that's the meme.
Yeah,
Alright,
no, that's just too easy.
Hold
Go
on
for
a
deep
second,
stuff.
guys. But before we go on to whatever tangent we want to go on next, just a quick update for the viewers. We did have a PC crash, so we were just waiting for them to get on a new PC, get going. So you'll have to stick with us for just a little bit longer. We'll get that game up and running for you ASAP because we know that you're excited for some more League of Legends. But you know what did I miss, you guys, other than Pyro's story? What's going on?
You didn't miss much in that.
Oh, my bad.
It was fun times. I don't know. We were just talking about the joys of Singe support. As if any LCK enjoyers are watching Academy, you know what the hell happened last night. And if you don't, you could probably see it on Reddit, front page, or Twitter. It's probably everywhere. It was
Honestly, it's hard to miss if you follow League. For
it was
sure.
a Singe support Baron steal into a quad into a win.
By the way, the moment that I saw that, like I saw the highlights, I didn't stay up for it live or anything. That was when my brain was like, "Hey, I've got a story about Singe support." That's the only reason I remembered it. I'm pretty sure I repressed that memory.
That was the real reason that you took out Deserex's power so you could come on the broadcast and talk about the story that you saw.
I told you that in confidence, Sierra. Wow, way to blow my cover. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, no, this was an interesting pick ban though. I mean, I like to see the Maokai Senna back again. I know it's not Singe support. I know Cubby, you were so excited for it, but it does seem like it's the comfort wheelhouse there.
Yeah.
They just, that's their. Cubby, you're a person that I always expect to have some sort of thought, some sort of take, and is your answer.
I know. I'm really trying to make it hard on you guys. We're being told we have like 5+ minutes left, and so we have to fill time. And my answer, I'm just giving one-word answers. This is not a good look for me.
All right, well, we're gonna ignore Cubby then. We're gonna bring it back to talking about TSM and Immortals just a little bit. And I'm only Cubby, I don't want to hear from you, Pyro. I'm only gonna be talking to you from now on. Now that we've made it through this champ select, I know that you were leaning one way before. How are you thinking now that you have a little bit more information about what's going on?
I don't think it changes a ton, but I think what and I will bring Cubby in a little bit because I think what does make a difference is how the early game goes, especially from Chad, because it was a really good point you made about how early games tend to go well for Immortals if they can get that like counter jungling on, and specifically in this matchup, Hyper has had such a big impact over TSM series. I think if you can try and put him on the back foot a little bit, that might be an opener in the early game, and it's a little bit like composition independent. But Immortals did what they needed to do by banning the Lee Sin. That's like step one, right? Step two is making sure you can give yourself a jungler that can have an impact. I believe he got the Viego lock, Chad did, right? So he should be able to...
Wukong, yeah.
He should be able to match some pressure. I mean, we've seen that matchup a lot, right?
It's good first clear, yeah.
Yeah, so I think if he can just be a little bit faster, that'll definitely hinge on Chad creating early pressure and forcing Hyper to adjust his game plan. That's what I'm keeping an eye out for.
Okay, and then Cubby, what are your thoughts? And please have something more than yep. Now that we've made it through the champ select, what are you eyeing up?
I think that's something that's interesting about this matchup. We spent so much time talking about mid-jungle duos. I think it's going to be a really... That's kind of how I've seen both teams consistently win games so far in Academy. But I think it's interesting looking at the top lane. We got two rookie top laners. It's their first split each in Soul plus Vital. Soul only spent one split in Amateur. Vital spent none. Honestly a bit of a surprise pickup here for Immortals, but I think both have been all right in their own right. I think that Soul on like Camille Gangplank, I've seen him executing lane states really well and then team fighting really well. I think those are two champions where Soul's been a bit of a standout. Whereas for Vital, I feel like there are shortcomings that he has in the laning phase, but I've seen some good things in team fights too when he sticks to his champions. So I think that's again a matchup that I'm just interested in, because whenever we have these new players come to Academy, they're always looking to make their mark, of course, just like everyone else in the league, and good chance for each of them to do it against a fellow rookie.
That's the big thing. Very raw talent. You get to make those highlight plays early.
How's that, Sierra? That better than yes?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, especially bringing up the fact that it is Soul invite. No, please. No, talking about the top lane though, it's one that I'm interested in as well, because as much as it's cool to see all the history that the players have and their journeys, the fact that there is a little about Soul. There is stuff about Soul, but not as much as other people. And this is now we get to see Soul transition into Academy, but then nothing on Vital. It's just a big question mark. And I bring it up every week because I'm still excited to get answers to these questions that I have about Vital and the type of player and what he brings into this Immortal squad, and see that potential that they must have seen in him, Cubby.
So, since we have a bit of time, you know, when you're going for scouting, talent development, personally, things that I value more, that I think most orgs value more as well, at this point, would be things like how you team fight, how you play around cooldowns, and how you play, not necessarily the map, but pretty much like how you play objective setups, stuff like that. Pretty much, like, people are looking for players that see things that are either they see ahead in the game, or they see things that other players cannot, and they're able to execute. Because I think it's easier to teach laning stuff than it is to teach that, like what I just kind of summed up. Most teams are in the same camp. And so I think for Vital, like the fact that I see him team fighting well is a good sign. Like those are signs where it's like, hey, this might be why Immortals picked him up. Maybe he just really struggled to get off the like out of the laning phase and, you know, get into the later stages of the game on even footing. But in the later stages of the game, I think he's been playing well. So I think that for Immortals and Vital, again, this is a very common point for a lot of these players in Academy. Like we see weaker laning phases from the majority of players that we have here. It's one of the big differing factors between like marksman that we have in Academy and marksman that we have in LCS. It's probably the most obvious role where laning plays that big of a factor. But I think for Vital especially, you know, he's someone that the better he does in lane, the better that is. For Soul, it's mostly champion pool, expanding that. Camille's already a champ I've seen him perform on, so hoping he stays consistent there, but we'll see.
Absolutely. This is it's cool to see some of the newer players that are making those marks. I think when you have those weaknesses, it's not as much of a problem when your opponent is also newer and has not necessarily the experience to try and take advantage of that. And it'll be curious to see which of them actually can recognize that earlier. So that matchup is definitely one I'm keeping an eye on for this series.
So much to look forward to. We're close, but not quite there yet. We are going to take a short break, allow everyone to go get a snack and get ready for the matchup because it should be a lot of fun. We'll see you back in just a few minutes. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I will say right out of the gate, so people don't get their hopes up, we are still waiting for a PC fix. Everything has to go wrong on the same day. This is like the equivalent of a Monday starting out, but at least to waste some time, we're going to play a little bit of a word association game. So, nice way to, I don't know, keep ourselves amused, maybe tilt Cubby a little bit.
Oh, my favorites.
That's a great game in and of itself.
Exactly. So I'm going to say a word, phrase, and I just want you to say the first thing that really comes to your mind when I say it. All right? And then you guys can argue about it after or agree, whatever way you want to go.
Do we get like one then the other, or is it going to be like we both say at the same time and then just say completely different stuff?
I'll say it, and then Pyra, since you are the newcomer to the broadcast, we'll always start with you first. So opportunities to say something to tilt Cubby, okay?
Newcomer bias.
I'll do my
Wow,
best.
this is
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
new. I like
That's
this.
how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. As the other newcomer, I have to, right?
Yeah,
right.
I respect it. I respect it. Yeah.
All right, to start off hot, we're going to talk a little bit about champions, because we were talking about that in our own 3-minute break. We're going to start it off with Corky.
Delivery.
Boo.
All right, and you can
Cubby is not a Corky enjoyer.
you can drop a couple words if you really need to, because delivery was weak.
Well, that's-
So,
I mean-
Day delivery.
okay, not you're worse than
that's
Cubby.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: if I need a win in like Diamond 4, Diamond 3 solo queue, and I'm auto-filled mid, I play like Corky or Malzahar. It's like two of the most AFK champions that you were just filthy on in the later stages of the game.
Yeah.
And I just pray like my
I-
team carries and I don't mess up.
Okay,
That's,
yeah, I guess
I don't have hands.
AFK face roll is another one. To
Yeah.
be fair, but that was a little bit of an assist from Cubby. So
Even
if
if
you
I-
want Sierra,
Because like if I play like 5 games a day, I can only hit like D3 point a solo lane. My hands are bad, and I don't have time to do that. So when I'm playing sport and I get up there and I like have to play mid, it's just AFK champ or I play like with Sonder if like we have to play fast. But you know AFK champ, point and clicks, it's fine. Do my job and pray that my team's good.
Okay. Well,
That's
we'll
Corky.
keep this on the train of AFK champs. Yumi.
annoying, really, really, really annoying. Oh, I hate playing against Yumi in lane because I never know what's gonna happen next. I'm always like, and then I forget about the final chapter, and I'm like, oh gosh, I never have a teammate that's good at it.
Okay.
Fair.
Unexplored. I know that
Ooh.
everyone kind of hates Yumi.
Ooh.
I actually think Yumi has the potential to be like an even sicker champion than what she is now. Just even more disgustingly broken. Like, think back to Garen Yumi. Why haven't like no one else has pioneered a lane like that? And I feel like there are so many bruisers that like would be really, really, really good with Yumi. So I actually want to see like people try and pioneer stuff like that. I think it could be really interesting.
Okay. Do you think there's a
my
reason
Yumi
why people aren't exploring things? Is it because Yumi's kind of locked itself in this image of being one-dimensional, or why do you think this is?
I think it's mostly because people like see or think of Yumi as like what is a champion that I can pair it with that gives it a stable early game, because then when I get to the later stages, like you were just a filthy champion. So this is kind of how like Ezreal came up, or how Garen came up, because Garen you just stat checked everyone, and then Yumi did like built Ludens and did like filthy damage on that patch, so that wasn't cool. But I think that like there's a very like narrow viewpoint of like, hey, here's how I can use Yumi. Whereas I think that also there are lanes where like I feel like Yumi's just like not tested enough. Like I feel like Yumi Swain could be like a wild combo. Because like you slow people, like then like you get the root back, like stuff like that. And then you like each have some healing, so you just never die. So I want to see people like just try to combine more things with Yumi to see what it works with. Because I think that like you can combo the slow with poke, you can combo the slow with like hard CC for setup. Because I think like mostly we just see it with Ezreal's Zeri. It's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, because most people tunnel on the bot side, right? You can just pick it with other roles and like make that work. It's not like a Kalista where you have to like bond at the beginning of the game.
All right. Well, I got
cool.
my own Yumi here.
Oh,
Coming by for a little
we
visit.
heard the tease about. Oh my goodness!
Wow, that's great.
What a sweet
I haven't
baby.
seen that Yumi skin, but I'm a huge fan. Yeah,
Next
you know
one
what?
coming out.
when the breaks get long, that's when we have to break out the pets. That's the true entertainment value.
Cat cam is the way to go. Like I'm always down for that. My cat is taking a big nap, which is again much like most of the Yumis I play with for a good chunk of the game.
And hopefully not like the chat while we are still stalling for time.
This is why I became a Singed main because playing AD carry means if you do not have hands, you cannot win games, and your support is not going to help you as much.
That's true.
What are you gonna do?
All right, well, we're gonna circle back to Corky for a second because I have production in my ear saying that we have a little bit of a tweet treat coming out. So we talked about this summoning circle earlier.
They did it.
What have you done?
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Dignitas social team. Good stuff.
Phenomenal.
You know, it's funny too, because like it worked for them in game 1, but then they beat it in game 2 in the later stages.
Even better.
So it actually worked both ways.
Both sides, yeah.
I just gotta say, social media needs a raise. Absolutely phenomenal. The turnaround on that.
A, that's good. B, what's the PayPal and what's the price for me to like, use the summoning circle? It feels like a very powerful force that we have in Academy.
They should rent it out, to be honest.
I want to use that.
That would be big.
Yes. And then we can kill Corky.
Wait a sec. Okay.
You can.
Okay, well, I'm hearing that the game on the horizon was put in the summoning circle because that is what we have next. Thank you so much, everyone, for bearing with us. Let's get into the game. I can't wait.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Sierra. We had a little bonus game content for all of y'all. That was good. That was good. Yeah. We're under the rift, and there is a Yumi this game, and there is a Corky this game, so it's everything you like, Cubby.
I also like the fact that we only used 1 out of the 2 cats we have available to us, which tells me
we have more cats.
We will need the other one later for a pause. I hope I am wrong, but we planned out for this. We have options.
You don't have any cats, Cubby?
No, I don't. No, I
have a dog?
Used to. It was a wonderful dog. Yeah.
Aw, yeah.
Doggos
I used to be more of a dog person myself, actually, but I ended up getting a kitty, and now I'm a cat person because that's how that works. Oh no, we lost Shenny.
Yeah, see.
No, Shenny's back.
All right. Well, I hate to expose whose computer was doing the damage, but hopefully Shenny, the computer, it's friendly, just like the friendly tree we have down bot. We have seen this combo, Senna Maokai. I really like it. Maokai can play very aggressively with the Senna. The line heal, it's very easy to line that up, and also damage enemy AD carry, just giving out Twisted Advance works and the Q knockback with the Maokai. So really hope we get to see Instinct and Shenyi sync up and play this lane to great success again. They already picked up a win on it, and I think it's a really good Senna comp as TSM. We'll see if they can utilize it to play a little bit faster, set Immortals behind.
Absolutely. So on the flip side, Cubbies, we have a little bit of time to start. It is a fairly standard setup here in this game. What are you looking for Immortals to do with this, what I call the Zoomer comp, and I think I'm fairly apt in saying it.
I am looking for Immortals to get Zeri to the spot where Zeri cannot die, and that's the game plan. As I think overall, it's a decent start early. Arrow and Joey actually pulled the wave, forced TSM to miss a melee creep, so they will be late to level 2. And they can utilize their range to really harass this Maokai Senna lane early. Just doing a nice job of kick this one off.
Absolutely. So keeping an eye on that bottom side. But I do want to keep in mind what happens elsewhere on the map too, because I think there's a lot of explosive lanes. And we usually talk about that mid lane when it comes to both these teams and having a big impact that they can then translate onto the side lane. Pretty on this Zoe. We'll have plenty of opportunities to find angles, quite literally, on Takeover.
Yeah, Pretty will have early push, and as you can see, Pretty trying to use that. If we could get our observers to drop the scoreboard and bring it back real quick, that'd be great. So we can see where the CS is. Boom, look at that. Wow, observers so in tune. Shout out there, production, going through the pause too. It was a PC crash, but giving us some goodies to play along with while we had to wait. Hopefully kept you all entertained. And didn't put you to sleep, just as Takeover got put sleep in that mid lane. Gonna take a little bit of chunk for nice go shot over on Pretty.
Yeah, gotta watch out for those bubbles. Ooh, Vital a little bit low starting off in this one. Does have that Ignite, so
Hyper's up here.
Always gotta keep in mind, Soul not gonna be able to match it. Hyper gonna be potentially making a play. We have seen plenty of level 3 Wukong ganks, so I wouldn't be too surprised. And he's behind the ward right now if he wanted to come up through lane. But still on Krugs, not gonna be a big danger right now. And Vital is going to for another ward, this time in River Brush.
Yeah, actually, curiously enough, it's going to be full clears here for each of the junglers taking the Krugs, and Hyper not even going to go try and take that crab. And I think that's a decent call from Hyper. Again, For TSM, at least early, I think because the bot lane was able to start in lane on the side of Immortals, no one has lane priority on the side of TSM. And I think the game plan for Hyper, you can see him walking down a base. This is actually Hyper going straight to the top side. I think he believes that Chad based and might walk top as he started on the top side to cycle out that Gromp. Soul's wave is pushing out, so I think Hyper, again, reading the map, reading the lane states, trying to A, get himself a crab, but B, help his top laner at least reset this one on decent footing. We'll see if Vital oversteps his bounds and maybe finds a Hyper that he would not expect to see.
Yeah, he didn't actually get a ward in that River Brush, and the one in try expired, so he is playing a little bit back here while Soul is going to crash the wave into his lane, so Hyper doesn't find an opening. Instead, he's just going to go for crab on top side. Pretty easy take. Chad's in the area as well, so it's probably for the best. Hyper didn't make that one. Now a transition into mid.
Oh, nice.
And Pretty was not expecting the Wukong, actually, so there we go. Oh, so close to the first blood.
Still really well played, and Hyper mixing up the pathing. This has been spotted. You can see a Trinket Ward on Hyper's own Gromp. That is the first camp he cleared after the blue buff, so that's where you'd expect to see him. But now Hyper is actually lying in wait for Chad, expecting Chad to cross after he cleared his second clear. Top to bot. He has his bot lane here. A good setup from TSM. They're trying to catch Chad out, going to the Raptors instead. Chad looking for takeover. And now they just might look for a dive on Pretty. This is going to get feisty.
Yeah, it is right now. Chad going to wrap around the side, does find takeover, but he did not expect Instinct and Hyper to both be ready to make a play. Gets the root down, but he is under turrets, so nobody dies just yet. This may, however, I was going to say set up a dragon opening, and I'm like, Arrow and Joey are there. It's not going to be a problem.
And exactly, Hyper is going to have to return and clear out all of his camps. Hyper's not... Well, I think he's put down some decent map pressure. Hasn't been able to do anything. The only thing that really achieved, again, for the side of TSM, it gets Takeover a great reset. He just crashed a cannon wave for free. Pretty is now responding to it. Takeover already burned the teleport. So that's really going to help out Corki in this matchup. You see Takeover, because he was granted a little bit extra gold, help from his teammates, really good reset. That's a Hex Drinker. Really going to help him survive this Zoe matchup and scale up to the likes that we've seen Corki scale to so far in this season.
Yeah, it's a pretty AP hefty team as well, so it's a good value buy even for later on in the game.
Yeah.
Now Chad going to be making a move down into this bottom side. It's pretty good vision coverage for IMT, and got to get that ward cleared before Chad shows, but I think that might have been a giveaway. Instead, he's going to opt to go ahead and start off on this dragon. Meanwhile, Vital is getting very low, but does pop the Ignite to chase Soul away, so neither top laner are going down just yet. And we've had a few close calls, Cubby, but still no first blood.
Vital is yet to base, so I think the fact that he survives that, he's going to have to TP back, but he is at a better item breakpoint, whereas, of course, on the bot side of the map, Chad was taking the Dragon, taking advantage of the fact that his bot lane has really nice priority early. Good stuff from Arrow and Joey, who I think haven't had the strongest start to the season. We do expect a little bit more out of these players, given some of the academy experience they have, but having a really nice start to this game.
Absolutely. I mean, and even more Arrow, right? I mean, that's a player that's been around for a long time in League of Legends, and you do expect to see just better positioning. I think outside the lanes, it has been a lot of struggles, and right now maybe going back and playing a little bit better. They are getting the jump on Instinct and Shenyi right now, which is great. Of course, you're mentioning Vital getting a good buy up top, getting the Leeching Leer.
Yeah.
Very fun vocal warm-up, casters. Oh, hey, Lightning Crash. They're going to find Shenyi. Not enough to get the damage, not enough to get the kill, I should say, down bot.
Top's interesting in the moment, as both junglers are up here. Vital, again, has that item advantage on his Soul. Soul's wave is pushing away from him. I think Chad sneaking up here could be good, as Immortals continue to really press and pressure the early game of TSM. This bot lane so low here. Shenyi and Instinct really struggling, as that line heal doesn't line up from the Senna. The more resources going over to the side of Immortals, and they're going to be forced to reset.
Oh yeah, this is great. I mean, Arrow and Joey are having a great time in this one, and I think another thing about the Yuumi, you know, you can kind of more efficiently juggle tower aggro, so you can be a bit more aggressive in the push-up, but yeah. I would talk about CS leads normally, but Fasting Senna kind of messes that up a little bit, so I'll just say Arrow's doing real good.
Comparing it to Shenyi, that is a big lead for sure. Yeah. As, again, Shenyi hasn't even been able to pick up that Pami's Cinder. That is so important for these champions, and is also just behind in levels, as this is a cannon wave. They will reset, Really smart of Joey actually to step up and try and stop it. As if they don't reset, they are, of course, at risk of getting dove. It's going to get shut down. They're going to have to eat this wave. And as long as Immortals keeps the wave state here, as long as TSM is not allowed to reset, it will be Arrow and Joey just peppering this lane and scaling for free.
I think they're going to need to call in Hyper for some help here. That's going to be the final chapter. Shenyi forced to burn Flash, and it is a full bullying in this bottom lane right now. They're just taking plates. I mean, at this rate, oh man, they might even pick up Shenyi just off poke. At this rate, Cubby, we might see a very early tower drop.
And the big part about that as well is the fact that they stopped Shenyi from basing on the cannon wave. And so this means that there's 2 more small waves where if Shenyi bases, he misses the entire damn thing, as now Instinct is actually traded out really nicely. Is Arrow overpushed?
Arrow very overpushed here, extremely low. Hyper going to try and cut him off.
Oh no.
He is going to come in a little bit late. There's the Cyclone, and they just pushed their luck a little too hard for the double kill, and all of a sudden, things look fantastic as Instinct picks up 2.
I mean, Instinct was just autoing these guys for free, and he got him down so damn low that Hyper was able to get here in time, make the plays. Now we'll see if Hyper can at least get out.
Oh, it's very close. He burns Flash.
Oh,
and he's burning down.
Ooh.
Oh, he gets away. Man, that was a strange turn of events.
It was, and honestly, a humongous mistake from the Immortals bot lane. As look at the rotation, look at what's been forced now. Takeover just got 2 plates for free in the mid lane because, again, Pretty Chad were forced to respond. TSM gets out for free. TSM are now up 1k gold. Instinct got 2 kills off that too, Pyra, as just a chain of auto attacks really took the Immortals bot lane down. And fortunately for them, they are going to take first brick off the back half, but still, that's a huge lead that was just thrown down the drain by IMT.
Yeah, you got to be very careful. And I was talking about positioning out of lane. Well, you got to worry about positioning in lane too, apparently. And they just keep Pretty down there to secure that gold and finish the job on the Shelly charge. And now that means Arrow and Joey are going to be sitting in the mid up against Takeover, who, as we talked about in the pregame, oh so long ago, if you may recall, Takeover is kind of linchpin for this team. He is very much a big playmaker. You do not want to give him gold if you do not have to.
And I think the big thing for Takeover, too, is that his champion pool, like, he's known for the melees. His Sylas, his Akali, his Lee Sin, these are champs that he proved himself on at the LCS level. His Corki, his mages, not quite as good. And so I think the fact that he's been granted so many resources at the start of this game, it's going to be a good test for Takeover to see if he can carry this game on the Corki. It's a comp where Corki can do a ton of work against the side of Immortals. He has been granted a lot of resources early. We've seen how powerful Corki is at the later stages on this patch, and we'll see if he's up to the challenge.
Hyper intercepting the Paddle Star there as the
Got
Infernal Dragon has hit the Rift right now. Immortals would love to grab this and add to their stack, but here comes the rest of TSM jumping immediately on top of Chad and deleting him off the Rift. Arrow is trying to do as much as he can to push the back. Joey able to stay pretty healthy through it all, but it doesn't really matter as they have the damage pushing through. TSM can start to aggro on this Drake with numbers advantage. No smite available to try and answer back. It's going to be on Immortals to try and chase them off, and they have.
They just don't have the health bars or the resources. Zeri, Yuumi, a little bit too healthy. Hyper is a little bit too low. If they stall this out, they could get everyone back and set up as now Instinct. Barely going to be able to sneak away.
Yeah, that's really nice, actually, to kick things off. And keep in mind, there's a teleport advantage for a couple of seconds for Soul, but Vital is about to get his back off cooldown. And I think both teams realize it's a bad spot. We don't want to really fully commit here. So we're just going to let the Dragon reset. And the swap is in full effect. Birdie's just decided to hold down bot now after the tower goes. And that means Arrow and Joey can roam together.
I think it's the right call to put the Zeri and the Yuumi mid. And I also think with that TP from Soul, that will be TSM seeding this Dragon, which I think is okay for them. They used the package to get a positive play for themselves. They got some gold in their pockets. And it's an even game with Corki going late. We've seen how good Corki can be. Zoe can match some of that poke, but God, those big rockets, they're really tough to deal with. And again, we'll see if they're up to the challenge.
Okay, Chad gets a smite down. It looks like for a second Hyper might try to go.
He was greeting the smite.
It was.
It's safe. He got it. No problem.
Oh, all right, Cubby. We got ourselves another Hexgate Rift. I'm loving it.
Your favorite.
It is my
It's the
favorite.
new
It's just, look, there's so much ridiculous stuff that can happen. It's not even about the soul. I don't care about the soul. It's like extra like static shiv stuff, which anyone remember that item? I mean, I'm a TFT player, so of course I do.
There we go.
But,
okay.
Yeah, exactly. You all know my dark secrets for sure. But like, it's the gates. It's the fact that you can just zip around the map, and everyone has to account for that fact.
Speaking of zipping around the map, Shenyi has quite the angle here onto Gwen. Trying to mark a lot of territory, whereas O take over.
Yeah, Chad's on top of him. He has the Valve to follow through. Not bad. He actually burned the flash for just his ultimate. Chad didn't have his flash to follow through, but we take those trades.
Flash was required there from Takeover. Smart call and a really nice catch from Chad to get themselves a Summer Spell. I think going into the mid game though, big thing for me is I want to keep our eyes onto like how Hyper, Shenyi, and Instinct play as a group of three. Because, again, Senna with melees in front of her is such a powerful combo. It really enables melees to step up to make plays, and I want to see if Shenyi, Hyper are up to the task and if Instinct can support them. Because I still feel like TSM have a lot of playmaking ability with that 3 being so strong at this stage of the game. And I do not like letting Zeri Yuumi get to the late stage game, later parts of the game for free. That usually is not a winning strategy, so I still want to see if TSM can make some plays.
All right, everybody's postured by the Herald right now. It's Chad, Arrow, Pretty, Joey. They're all here, but they're caught. Shenyi, really big tanking to set things up right now. And Chad going low. They will finally burn Shenyi down, but those trades you are much happier to take as the TSM side. Can they get even more off the back?
Watch Vital.
Was the one setting up for the plays. Here comes Soul in for the relief effort. Zero is going to find one. Will they find another? That's the double kill. You talk about the Zeri getting up to speed. It's going to be 2 kills already. And on the chase down, Instinct will surely fall for the triple. Big gold investment for the IMT bot lane.
And we asked for them to step up, and yes, they did fall early, but that's them getting their advantage back. And I gotta praise Vital as well. The angle he took walking down from the top lane, the first couple ultimates that he had, his ability to buy space in the middle. We'd said his team fighting was good. That was a great team fight from Vital. It opened up things for Arrow to win that fight hard for IMT.
Yeah, let's see this again, because it starts... It seems pretty good as the Maokai goes in on the Sticky Trouble Bubble, but they just kind of run out of damage. The repositioning from Arrow and Pretty is so good here.
Yeah.
And they just have them locked up in that choke point. And then Vital, he comes in to keep them there. My goodness.
Once Vital enters the fight in that choke, Hyper is in way too deep. Shenyi, I respect the engage, went too deep at the start though, so ends up falling. And man, really, really good look for Immortals. Again, Vital. Love that rotation down. Feel like that's a really good moment from the rookie, just recognizing Hammond to join the fight. TSM overcommit. And Vital and IMT, they punished hard.
Yeah, they do. I think the choke points are going to be something TSM will have to watch out for here. Now, Vital, speaking of watching out, is in danger of being dove on. That is going to be the hook shot into the tack sweep. Now, the knock up there, investing just about everything onto Vital. And Gwen is immune for a few more seconds. Hyper is going to get traded, so that is a 1-for-1 in a 3-on-1. And now that should be the Rift Herald take for IMT. I don't believe they got it beforehand.
Goodbye.
So no Arrow now. Moving it on to Shenyi. Might be a bit of a stat stick, but it doesn't really matter for the time being. He has to pop his ultimate. One more auto attack is all they needed to get free hit on the turret.
Shenyi has no business being on that wave. They just showed 3 bot. Hyper went down, and Instinct Takeover were both coming out of base. Really nice punish from Immortals, but a big mistake from Shenyi as Immortals take the second Rift Herald, take mid-outer, and have really cemented themselves a lead on the Rift. They're up 4K gold now. Oh, man, Instinct.
Whoa. Oh, they line it up and take it down. Shad even gets a kill for himself, and Immortals looking really solid right now, Cubby. It's a 4,000 gold advantage plus a couple of dragons.
Yeah, not the bot lane synergy you want to see from TSM with both sides of their bot lane greeting for a mid-wave. Another good punish by Immortals, and all of a sudden, it feels like 2 team fights, Pyra. Look at that gold lead. 4K gold, 2 dragons in favor of Immortals. They have a Zeri Yuumi late. Yuumi is ahead, or I should say Zeri is ahead of the power curve. Already has that Essence Reaver completed. And TSM, I think they're going to pick up this dragon because they have the package, but we will see.
I think Immortals feel like they can fight this one out. Shenyi
yeah, they're strong.
Absorb a Sleepy Trouble Bubble. And Chad's here, right?
You
can always go for the Smite fight, the teleport. they're going to make the play. That is Vital coming in, and that Dragon's not going down fast enough, trying to stiff arm it here, but look at Soul and Hyper. They're not the healthiest either.
Ooh.
Instinct going to come around a little late. Around the side, Shenyi just gets cut through here as they're trying to muscle TSM out. Dragon will reset.
Where's that package?
Chad does take a little bit of punishment. Keep your eye on
Package
takeover.
timing out. It's gone.
Yeah, not anymore. Okay, there we
man.
go. So, you have to
Goodbye.
see back neutral, I think, unless they want to try to get the play onto Hyper. He goes in, but I think even with the smite down,
Vital.
they're gonna lose the fight off the back of this one. Vital takes instinct. Shenyi absorbs some pressure. Vital will finally fall. Even with the Hextech ultimatum, Soul's not gonna be able to do a whole lot. And they even managed to grab the blast one over. Takeover is down. A 1 for a 4, even though the Drake stack got cut. A big win for Immortals.
And again, Vital, he goes down in that fight, but he is so massive on this Gwen. No one can deal with him. And with the Yuumi on his back, he just gets to walk at TSM. There's no retribution from them as he is just cleaning up these fights, Pyra, and really opening up things for Arrow to just run rampant in the backline. No one can deal with Zeri because everyone's busy dealing with Vital.
Yeah, they can't touch it. They cannot touch this area at all. So here's the fight setup. Shenyi's already pretty zoned out unless he wants a last-ditch effort. And yeah, he drives us pretty as well. You have to respect that position.
The start of the fight from Vital, again, it's a great read from this rookie. The fact that he just walks up, goes immune, has the Yuumi, yes, he goes a little bit too deep at the end, but the damage was already done. Immortals with that gold lead. If Vital's the one that's taken all the pressure, I mean, he can go immune. It forces TSM to walk up and deal with him. And the amount of damage that Vital was able to pump out in that team fight, that was really the reason that IMT ripped through the rest of it on the back half, as a really good look from our rookie top laner here from Immortals. Objective bounty's now up for TSM, and it really feels like TSM are running for the hills. It's going to take a long time for this Corki to get online, and I don't think TSM has enough time to get it going.
I think they might want to get Dignitas on the line and ask how much it's going to cost to use that summoning circle, because otherwise I don't know how they're going to win this game.
They cursed Corki. They took a win with Corki to start the day, and all other Corkis are meant to be doomed. That's exactly what Dig just did.
Yeah, you gotta be careful messing with forces you don't understand. Baron gonna be not necessarily started, but they are keeping the vision clear, which means TSM will have to try and sniff out if an attempt is taken. And the reason I talk about it is because they do have so much damage, they might be able to start a Baron at this point. They're gonna go for play instead. Looking for Shenyi, finding him, already cutting through him. Support Maokai just ain't the same as Chad gets his 4th kill of the game.
That's Baron. They can just turn and look for Baron. TSM so on the back foot, and honestly, Vital's here, so they have to look for Baron. They're just going to look to pull Soul's TP. We'll see how hard Immortals commits. I feel like they're going to turn. We'll see if TSM even commits to contest this, as again, they're very far behind. Not much they can do. They feel like they can't even walk into the pit. Hyper's going to try and go there late, steal it. Pretty's already marking it. And that Baron's gone. It's going to trade it for a couple turrets. Oh, Hyper.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, they got that interrupt. However, that was a lot closer than it looked. Hyper going to go ahead and send himself out on the Cyclone. And they do manage to at least get a bot turret and a mid that was standing gold for TSM that does get picked up. And that's important, but the Baron goes over. They don't lose a member, and Hyper ends up giving his life for the cause. So all things coming up Immortals here.
You know, sometimes when games get grim, you just have to monkey around a bit and see what happens. And to be fair, it's pretty close, you know? I feel like you got to go for something at this point. It's TSM. It's looking grim. Shenyi going for this crab. He just saw Chad on that ward. I am very surprised that Shenyi is sticking around for this, and I think Shenyi is going to die for his sins. Wow.
I think Shenyi doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing right now. I think Shenyi is having a hard time on the Rift.
He's going to have some time to think about it, as that's going to be another gray screen for Shenyi. And this Maokai, we've seen him pick up a win on it. We've seen him and TSM be able to make very proactive plays on it. In the one game, they were able to pilot it, but not the same story today against Immortals, who we teased that they were looking for a bounce back, Pyra, against after an 0-4 week against the two teams we have sitting at the top of our standings to start the day here in Academy. And it really feels like Immortals are finding that bounce back here against TSM.
I agree. Yeah, and that's why I wasn't as worried about, like, you know, the 0-4 week, right? Because that's objectively, it's a real bad look. But then you're like, well, yeah, but it's against Team Liquid Academy and FlyQuest Academy, who barely dropped games between them. So, you know, that could just be getting skill checked. At the same time, it is really good to see this, especially, I know you keep calling attention to it, Vital really stepping it up. Young player showing off, and not only that, but showing off at the right time in the right place for the team, because he's not necessarily the big scary Gwen carry. He's just drawing pressure, and that's huge. As they do chunk out Soul yet again, Vital going to be bringing the minions up to the top side. Sleepy Trouble Bubble's going to land it.
Oh, no!
Instinct is gone. Oh, dear.
It is all IMT. They have scaled. Arrow's online. Vital's been fantastic at IMT. This has to be a bounce-back win for them. Will be their first win in the last 5 games. As IMT been on a bit of a slide, but man, they could take a lot home from this victory. As really, besides Arrow, Joey overextending bot, Hyper being there to turn things around, this game has been all Immortals from the start.
Oh, yeah. And you talked about the win conditions, right? Arrow getting to unkillable Zeri. Well, he got there very fast. And I do want to give a lot more credit to his positioning. I think we started to see, what we expected of a veteran player in this game. I think Joey and he have been very good at moving around the map where they needed to. A lot of really smart moves, lane swaps. Pretty has done exceptionally well. And yeah, they're just hitting them with the wallet at this point. There's nothing TSM can do.
Yeah, it's been a good look. Again, Arrow bounced back with Joey. Tough week last week. They did have the one game where they really punished Yon Zeri with the Twitch, but didn't end up falling in their favor. And for Vital, I mean, again, he's making a rookie debut. He never even had an amateur spot. I know from talking with him before this series, this meant a lot to him. He's like, I have something to look forward to when it comes to League, when it comes to my life. I want to put everything I can into this to be the best player possible. And, man, again, for a player that is just debuting, we didn't really have many expectations for Vital. A lot of people thought that, he'd probably be the weakest link. He was the last person announced when it came to all of the Academy rosters. He's been team fighting well. And the fact that he played out that lane, he survived it. I think newest spikes on the Gwen, then was able to use it at the later stages. Has been a very nice game from him.
Yeah, another thing that he said in that little Q&A that you had was that he wants to be the undisputed best in the league. I mean, he's putting in performances like that. We can start having that conversation. I do appreciate the drive. I know it could be like a cliche, but like, hey, sometimes you do want to be the very best, like no one ever was, and it means a lot to see the top laner stepping up early on.
I'm glad we could at least fit in one Pokemon reference while we have Sierra on the broadcast.
Again, as long as we have Sierra, I'm gonna keep putting out Pokemon references. Yeah. It's something I can still do. I have a lot of old knowledge. I can be hip with the kids, though.
Yeah. If you guys didn't know, Sierra actually used to compete in Pokemon tournaments, and I think still very involved. So definitely give her a follow if you're interested in that scene as well. At the moment, we're still going to keep on following this game as Immortals trying to make all the rest of these objectives fall, as that will be the bot inhibitor turret taken down. You got to figure the rest is to follow. 700 magic damage crit from Zeri's W. That's really fun for Instinct to deal with. He goes, well, oh my god.
Yep.
Jeez.
It's the Zeri, it's the Zoe, it's the fact that you get locked up and just absolutely deleted. I mean, there's so many things to be afraid of here.
Wow.
If you are TSM and they're zoned all the way back to Fountain. Takeover, trying to find a spot to use that package. They gotta go. Here comes Soul onto the Hextech Ultimatum. This is going to be the final fight of the game, and they get the opening, but they are still not finding the damage. Hyper gets the knock-up on the Cyclone. Instinct does take down Vital, so they have a numbers advantage.
Oh,
but Arrow is still running wild into the backline. However, he doesn't get the kill. They're trying to lock him up as he is able to hop over the wall after the cleanse. Second wind is coming through as the super minions are on top, wrecking those Nexus towers. And even though TSM managed to at least get something in that fight, they are losing out on their objectives.
They had to go. Arrow was too far up. Once that gate got canceled, Soul had to send it. I think it's the right call from TSM. Takeover using the package to split people. Didn't get onto Arrow, but did end up picking up a kill onto Vital. So, I mean, that's what TSM has to do, but it's still a Doom game. It's 3 inhibitors down. We have Soul Point, or I should say Soul, up for Immortals if they ever so wish to have it. And we have Elixirs being popped as Baron also coming out on the Rift. And still expect this to be a Doom game, given the scaling of Immortals, and a really good look from them.
Yeah, and for TSM, right? I mean, like, I guess at this point, like, yes, you really have nowhere to go but up, considering you've got nothing but a Nexus left. So maybe they can try to go for some highlight plays. I think Soul was definitely going for it. We did spend a lot of time talking about Vital coming out new, but yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to send it. And yeah, I mean, if they can get like a miracle of a fight, if they can layer all the CC perfectly and maybe take out Arrow, maybe. But I mean, there are so many like 1% chances there that it's going to be very, very difficult. So what they've been doing is keeping Takeover in the base. Now everyone else draws back. because
No
you don't even
package
need the
this
Baron,
time.
you don't need the Soul,
Yep.
and yeah, there's no Corki package to worry about. So it's just push to win.
IMT putting the finishing touches on what has been a nice game. Couple big ones here from Takeover. He did hit level 16. But oh boy.
Big ones, though.
Zeri
Yeah.
W does more damage than a big rocket. That's when you know things are bad.
And they're playing it smart. IMT aren't really giving an opening. They know what happened last time. There's ultimates up. And there is going to be the jump on.
What?
They do manage to find one here, but not enough damage. Even Joey
That's
getting
a
the kill on
reset.
that. Meanwhile, Vital just says, guys, we're just going to end this game right now. As he's moving himself onto the Nexus. That's the deletion onto Shenny. Hyper's already out of the picture. Good night, Stroll. And goodbye, Nexus, as IMT do get their bounce back win.
Really good stuff from Immortals. And I think the big key was that first Dragon fight when TSM just went a little bit too deep. We saw Pretty, Chad working together with that bot lane, making sure they got some sort of lead, got back into the game early. And then from there, how they ran with it, and once Vital got involved, it was one of the better games I've seen from Immortals so far this split. I think it's a good bounce back after a 5-game slide, and we'll see if Immortals can keep on climbing up in the standings. Keep in mind, this was a top 14 that we had in Proving Grounds last year. I know there are a couple roster changes with Arrow coming back, Vital coming in as a rookie, but we still feel like this could be one of the better teams we have in the league. Good to see them playing up to that in the first game we had in this series.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what the next game is going to bring if they can keep that form going. And TSM, of course, they're going to try and recover themselves, but we are going to take a little bit of a cool down ourselves. We'll be right back after this.